Good afternoon. I hope you had a nice lunchtime. And we are getting ready to start our afternoon sessions. And I will tell you that this one, I really need your help because it's a game session. And that is something that we're going to have to use the chat for you to give some input about some different things. So let me share my PowerPoint. And the reason it looks like this is because I still need to see my screen. So I have it on the presentation mode, but that's so I can see my screen and see the PowerPoint at the same time. The handout for this is about 6 pages long, and it is at the very top of the chat in a PDF format. So you are welcome to download that handout and look at it simultaneously, or download it later and print it out and write down what you remember of this session. I'm hoping that you'll bring some ideas to this session. I'll share some of my philosophy and some of my ideas and some of my sources, but hopefully some of you will have some additional sources as well. So we're going to start with the first thought, which is the gift of a name. And I really think that the most important gift you can give to one of your choristers is to know their name. Now, just to give you a little background for those of you that may not have been in any of my morning sessions, I spent 30 years in the elementary music classroom, K through 5. I have spent 30 years working with a community chorus called Oklahoma Youth Sing, and handout. There's my contact information and also the website for my chorus, and I invite you to look at that. I've also spent 30 years teaching in the Kodai certification program at the University of Oklahoma. So I love teaching teachers. In fact, in the time that I taught, I had 26 different student teachers, and many of them are still in the field, and I keep up with a lot of them. So that being said, when I taught, I usually had anywhere from 500 to 600 students in my building. And it was really my goal to learn their name as quickly as possible. I really think it's important for you to be able to call a child by name. And for every student teacher that came through my doors, I said, once you know everybody's name in a class, you can teach it. So I had a seating chart that I wrote out by hand before the school year even started. And so I wrote every child's name before school even started. And then I did it in pencil so I could rearrange, but I had those seating charts, and then I did lots of name games at the beginning so that I could call students by their names. So how do I do that in my choir situation? Because I see them once a week. It's just not the same as seeing a child every day at school. And many of us are in that situation, whether we have a children's choir in a church or a community choir. In my organization, we have 70 to 80 kids in our 3 ensembles. So we do have name tags for the first couple of times that we're together. But then we try to get rid of those name tags and be able to call people by name. One thing that we do at the very beginning is just take our phone, and everybody's got a name tag on. And so I'm going down row 1 and saying, this is Lily, or this, I say their last name too. This is Sam Daly. This is Lily Clark. This is Lucy Kersham. This is, and show their face, have them wave at me. So I do that for my other conductors, and they do that for me. So we each do our own ensemble. So we're all looking at that video every day, trying to learn all those names so we can call them by name. Another thing that we started doing, and this came from an idea that I got at a children's choir retreat, And for those of you that may not be members of ACDA every other year sponsors a choir retreat for children's choir conductors. It's always Martin Luther King weekend. So it's coming up in 2022. It's always on the even years. And this time it'll be in Tucson, Arizona, I believe. And you fly in on Friday. You have sessions on Saturday and Sunday, and you can either fly out Sunday night or Monday morning because it's Martin Luther King Day. So it is several reading sessions, like 4 of them, and workshops that just have to do with children. And many times they will have a workshop just on games. And the very first one that I went to, that was my first workshop, was games with Christy Elsner, who actually is in Kansas City. And she was talking about things that she did with her choristers. And my assistant conductor was there with me, and we started brainstorming immediately. So as soon as possible, we announced to our families that 15 minutes before every rehearsal began, we would be playing games. And we started games at 5:45, and our rehearsal started at 6. And we had no more tardies. Everybody was bugging their parents, hurry up, get me to choir. I want to play games before rehearsal. And it was wonderful for us. At that time, we had 2 ensembles. So I would play a game with my ensemble while my assistant director was playing a game with hers. The next Monday night, we'd just switch. And I'd play it with her group, and she'd play it with my group. Same game. Next Monday, we could divide them different ways. We could divide them by birthdays. All the January through June birthdays are with Miss K. All the July through December birthdays are with Mrs. Herbal. I'd do a game, she'd do a game. Next week, switch groups, same game. Then we'd say, everybody with the last name, A through H, is with Miss K. Everybody I through Z is with Mrs. Herbal, or however it fell for us to divide our group kind of evenly. And it was wonderful. It was different groupings. Sometimes it was our older children with our younger children, which was very sweet to watch. Sometimes it was just their own group. It was a great way to mix it up. And we learned their names, and they learned our names. So another thing that we decided to do was to try and have some kind of social event before rehearsal started, because everybody would walk into that first rehearsal. We had students from 20 different schools, and in your church setting, you probably have the same thing. You have kids from all sorts of different schools. They may not know each other. They may be in Sunday school together. They may be in Vacation Bible School together. But you don't know. You've got to have some way for them to get to know each other as well. So we had something called a kickoff. So what is a kickoff? It was a chance for us to do some fun things together before our first rehearsal. First of all, we assigned everybody to a small group, and all of our staff, including our accompanists and our college helpers, had a group. So when you came in, you got a name tag with a sticker on it. And, maybe you go with the red group, or you go with the green group, or you go with the purple group. And we would have name games in those small groups for about 20 minutes. Then we would have pizza together, and you would sit with your group. Then we would split into our ensembles and have a rehearsal. Then we'd have a skit and some sing-alongs before the parents picked up. So short and sweet, can be a couple hours, 2 to 3 hours. We usually did 6 to 9 on the Friday night before we started Monday rehearsals at a local church. And the kids just love it, and our staff members love it, and it gives us a jump on learning names. So the other thing is we sprinkle some other social activities throughout the year. Sometimes we go and sing the Star Spangled Banner at a basketball game. We went and sang Christmas carols for food and shelter for friends. We have had ice cream parties. We've gone to a park and played together. The sky's the limit. You could go skating, go to a skate rink together, but it's important to play together. And a lot of times, if we had a performance that was out of town, we would perform and then we would play, go to a water park, go to an amusement park, do something like that. So it's important to have downtime, especially if you're like me and I require them to be engaged every second of our rehearsal. So here are some of my favorite name games. And this is where I'm going to ask for some of your help. So I'm actually going to stop sharing for a moment. And the first one is just to pick an adjective and emotion that goes with your name. So I have the kids call me Miss K. So I usually try and find two things that start with K. So kooky Miss K. Or if I wanted to use my first name, I could use Sassy Sandy. But the whole point is you make up a motion and an adjective that goes with your name, and then we go around the circle. So if I started and I said Sassy Sandy, everybody would say Sassy Sandy. And so if someone could come up, you can't show us your motion, but at least you could give us an adjective that goes with your name, either first name or last name. Type it into the chat, an adjective that would go with your name. And it could be random. We wouldn't have to go around the circle in order. When I played it a week ago at the Oklahoma Choral Directors Association, I just said, who has one? And somebody said, I'm singing Susan. And so everybody said, singing Susan. And then the next person would say theirs. And so we'd start with singing Susan, or we'd start with the new person, Sassy Sandy, and singing Susan. So does anybody have another adjective that we could, Philip, I'm sure you could do an adjective if you're still there. Something to go with Philip.
Something to go with Philip. Perky Philip. How about that?
Perky Philip. So we could have some kind of motion with that. So we'd say Perky Philip, Sassy Sandy, and singing Susan. All right, now we have Joyful Janet. So everybody do Joyful Janet, Perky Philip, Sassy Sandy, and singing Susan. Now we have Kind Mrs. Kimmel, Joyful Janet, Perky Philip, Sassy Sandy, singing Susan, and so on. We have Crazy Kristen, Cool Mrs. C, Tuneful Tony. You guys have got it. So all you would have to do is add an action. And again, you just keep adding cumulatively. What's the one they're going to know the best? Singing Susan, because that was first. And they'll probably remember the very last couple. So they'll remember the bookends, and it's the ones in the middle that they'll go for a second. What was that? But it's just a great way, and this can happen really quickly. I took some kids to a Young People's Chorus of New York City camp, and we were sitting in the cafeteria waiting for the cafeteria to open because they thought we were coming at 6:30, and we were there at 6. And all of a sudden, one of the staff members says, let's play this game. And we were just sitting in the cafeteria, and all the adults and all the children did it together, and we learned names pretty quickly. And later that day, we'd say, I remember you, you're singing Susan, or you're Joyful Janet, or you're perky Philip. So it was kind of fun. Another one that I really like, and I apologize, in the handout, I don't really have all the instructions for this one, but I have everything else in the handout. This one is called Zakoti, and it's spelled Z. I'll type it in the chat. And it's kind of in 6/8. Well, that's not Zakoti. Here we go. Zakoti. So I'm thinking in 6/8. Zakoti, I'm patting my lap, and then I'm saying the name of the person here and the name of the person here. So let's say I have Janet on this side and Philip on this side. I go Zakoti, Janet, and Philip. And then the next person would say the person on their right and the person on their left. So we're keeping a steady beat. To start with, I have everybody ask names on both sides. And then I do what I call a group practice. I'll tell you, group practice goes a long way to success in a game. So we're all going to practice. We're all going to say Zakoti, and make up 2 names. Ready, go. Zakoti, Janet and Philip. Zakoti, Christy and John. Zakoti. Your 2 names. Then we actually play the game, and we're all doing the motions, but each person takes a turn. So maybe the first time everybody says Zakoti, but I say Janet and Philip. Well, Janet's the next one who's going to go. So she's going to say Zakoti, Miss Kay, and Christy. And Christy's going to go and say Zakoti, and say Philip and Tony, and so on. So we're going around the circle. And then before we do that, I said, you're listening to everybody. You're learning names. The next time we do it, everybody's got to say everybody's name. So then we'd say Zakoti, Miss Kay and Janet, Zakoti, Philip and Christy, Zakoti, Tony and Mrs. Kimmel, whatever. We're going around the circle and saying everybody's name. That could be it for that day. You can pull it out another time. You can have them do it once and then everybody scrambles around so you're sitting next to somebody different. It's just a great way. It's kind of like categories where you're saying names. So the first time through, everybody has a turn by themselves. And then the second time through, everybody says everybody's name. And it's one of those games we play on kickoff night. It's really easy. We've also done the adjective, motion, and name on that night. I'm going to jump ahead for a minute and tell you about a resource. This is called Icebreakers 60 Fun Activities. It's in the handout, but it has a lot of resources in it. And I just, it has 100 headliner questions. So I know when I was doing Zoom rehearsals this past year, I always had everybody type in the chat, what's your favorite fast food, or which movie star are you like? Or what's your favorite activity on weekends? Everybody, 1, 2, 3, go, and type it in the chat. Also, there's one in here called 2 Truths and a Lie, but it's not called that. It's called Fact or Fiction. And this is another one that we like to do, but they really have to think about before they start, because you can tell when they're telling a lie because they look up. But I would have to come up with 3 facts, and I would tell them to you with a very straight face. And then somebody in my circle has to tell me which one is not true. 2 of them have to be true, and 1 of them has to be a lie. So if I said, I have 3 children, I speak French and Spanish fluently, and I have a cat. Well, I actually told you 3 truths right there. But If I said, I have a dog, that would not be true. But you can just come up with simple facts. I love to swim. I hate pizza. And my little brother is annoying. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything very complicated. So you can also do group practice. It's like everybody practice saying 3 things right now so that they can get it in their head so they don't go, because that's going to give it away. So they love to play 2 truths and a lie in our little small groups. And our groups are about, 12 to 15. So in that 20 minutes, we could have done all 3 of those games. We could have done the adjective action thing. We could have done Zakoti, and we could have done 2 truths and a lie in 20 minutes with a small group like that. Well, what does that do for them? They've just arrived at this retreat. They may not have known anybody when they walked in. They're not sure what it's going to look like and sound like. They don't know who Miss K is. They don't know any of the adults. And all of a sudden, they have a safe adult that they know by name. And they have 12 to 15 people that they have just met, and they found out something interesting about them. Then we go eat pizza together. We could have started with pizza, but because we started with the games, now when they go to pizza, they're all chatting 100 miles a minute. I'm walking around the tables and everybody's happy. Everybody's already made a friend, already feels comfortable. And so if we had started with pizza, they might all be sitting at the table looking at each other, and there might have been some apprehension. But starting with games and saying their names is really, really, really important. Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing because I'm going to teach you this game. And this is one of my favorites, absolute favorites. It's called Jump In, Jump Out. We're in a circle. If you haven't figured out by now, I'm a circle girl. I love to be able to see everybody. So we're in a circle. And if you want to stand up and try it with me, it's easier to put it in your body. Do what I do, but don't worry about saying anything except the word yeah. If I point to you, say, yeah. Jump in, jump out, turn yourself about. I said, jump in, jump out, introduce yourself. My name's Miss K. Yeah. And I like ice cream. Yeah. Gonna keep on liking it. Yeah. For the rest of my life. And the answer is for the rest of your life. So the parts you're learning so far are yeah, 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 and for the rest of your life. So let's try that much again. Jump in, jump out, turn yourself about. I said jump in, jump out, introduce yourself. My name's Miss K. Yeah. And I like ice cream. Yeah. Gonna keep on liking it. Yeah. For the rest of my life. For the rest of your life. Then I do that group practice. So everybody's going to say, my name is something. Yeah. And I like something. Yeah. Gonna keep on liking it. Yeah. For the rest of my life. So we practice that part until that gets fluid. So everybody try that. My name is, yeah, and I like, yeah, gonna keep on liking it, yeah, for the rest of my life, for the rest of your life. I will tell you, the spot practice place is gonna keep on liking it, gonna keep on liking it, gonna keep on liking it. So we spot practice that a little bit. Okay, then let's do group practice within the game, starting at the beginning. Jump in, jump out, turn yourself about. I said jump in, jump out, introduce yourself. My name is Da. Yeah, and I like Da. Yeah, gonna keep on liking it. Yeah, For the rest of my life, for the rest of your life. Now we're ready to actually play the game. And instead of going around the circle, I usually ask for volunteers because you always have that student that's willing to go first. So here we are in our circle. You know, it doesn't matter how many people are there. You can do it with 5 or 6. You can do it with 25. We had a visiting choir come work with us, and we did a benefit concert. And so there must have been 100 of us, and we were downstairs, and we had scheduled 30 minutes for lunch. And you know, children always eat faster than that. So they were done in 20 minutes, and we had a few minutes. And I said, you know, let's play this game. And I introduced it to them. We did group practice. And I said, who wants to go? And we had several volunteers. And we just played this game for I taught it for about 3 minutes. We played it for about 5. And there went our 10 minutes. It was great. So this is a favorite. And the kids love it. It's syncopated. And it has a little bit of improvisation. But it has their name. I don't require them to like something that starts with the same letter as their name. So I like ice cream. I like chocolate. I like dancing. I like gardening. I like reading. It doesn't have to start with the same letter as my name. So that's a favorite. If you play nothing else, play jump in, jump out. I actually went to Lubbock, Texas, one summer for a 3-day workshop, and I was going to do a demonstration with the West Texas Children's Choir. So they showed up, and I had a little bit of time with them before we did our demonstration. And there were about 20 of them. And I said, Susan Brumfeld was their conductor. I said, can we have a little room by ourselves for just 10 minutes? And so I took them in that room, and we played jump in, jump out. Then all through the demonstration, I'm calling them all by name. And everybody who's watching is like, how does she know their names? And it was just from 10 minutes playing jump in, jump out. And I'm sitting there the whole time going, and that is so and so and so and so. I'm going around the circle. Can I name them all? Oops. Okay, what's the name of this one? And I'm working to learn their names. It made the demonstration go so well because I could say, Joseph, tell us what the form is right there. Or Krista, what's the highest note of this phrase? Or whatever. I could just call on them because I knew their names. Okay, here's another favorite that they love. So it's called Hello, Hello. And I'm going to go ahead and make it full screen so you can see it a little better. But this is, again, best taught by rote because it's very syncopated. So the pattern that's happening with your hands is tap, tap, clap. It's your neighbor is here, bump, bump, bump. At the same time, you're doing a step, close. So let me go across the screen here. Step, close, step, close. So we're going clockwise in the circle. For right now, just let me teach it to you. Hello, hello, H-E-double-L-O. My name's Miss K. And your answer is, hello, hello. I come from Missouri. Hello, hello. And I like chocolate. Hello, hello. So 3 different things there. And I'm going to stop the share for just a minute. That's in your handout. So again, first of all, I would say you get to keep this pattern going and sing the hello, hello. So here we go. Bum, 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 hello, hello. H-E-double-L-O. My name's Miss K. Hello, hello. I come from Missouri. Hello, hello. And I like chocolate. Hello, hello. So then again, group practice. My name is something. I come from somewhere and I like something. So we all try it. Hello, hello. H-E-double-L-O. My name is hello, hello. I come from hello, hello. And I like hello, hello. And so when that starts feeling fluid, and we might need one group practice, we might need 3 group practices. But again, then this one is very easily put together. It's easier for this one to go around the circle because you're stepping and moving. And so it's easier just to know who's going to go next, just to keep it going. So for that one, I may do the group practice 3 or 4 times because I want to go straight around the circle and I don't want to stop. So those are my favorite name games. And I am going to give you a chance to ask any clarifying questions about adjective, motion, and name, Zakoti, jump in, jump out, and hello, hello. Any clarifying questions about that? If so, type them in the chat. And if you have another name game that's a top 10 for you that helps you learn names quickly, give us an idea of that in the chat. You may have a favorite that you would like to share with us. Crickets. Okay. Then I am going to move on and I am going to share my screen again. And the next category is clapping games, passing games. Just to let you know, it's here, but I am going to teach it to you by rote. But I wanted you to see what it looks like. It's called a kwa-kwa, and it is a passing game. So I'm going to take it away for a moment. There are lots of passing games. There are lots of clapping games. If you look in any textbook or any collection of children's games, there are tons of them, and some of them are very, very, very simple. I can just think of probably 20 of them that are a lot of fun. This one is one that is really good because it develops ensemble, because you really have to feel the beat together. This is a great game to sing and play right before you go on stage. So right before we sang at OMEA, we were in the basement of a church playing this game. Why? Because we all had to breathe together and match the beat, and it brought us together. This is from Israel. It sounds like Spanish, but it's just nonsense words. So would you just keep the beat while I sing it? A qua qua de la Omar, qua qua qua, del cima trico, 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 tra, valo, 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 valo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your left hand is out, and I always have to tell the kids, put your right hand behind your back, because I get something other than their left hand, especially if they're across the circle from me, their left hand is over here. So I wait until everybody has their left hand out. Then you are going to rest very gently your right hand on top of your neighbor's left. If they put the beat in your hand, then the beat is going to arch over and go in this neighbor's hand. So you're passing the beat. And it's only, you should be able to see the beat travel around the circle. So we have qua qua della Omar, qua 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 decima trico 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 tra, vallo 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 vallo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if somebody does 5 on my hand here and they get my hand, I'm out. But if they pass that beat on 5 and my hand pulls out before they get it, they're out. Now you can start another circle, or the person who's out chooses another number between 1 and 20. So the original game is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I first play this game, I don't want anybody to be out. So instead of being out, they just change the number. Then later on, if you have more time on another day, they say, Miss K, can we play it so we really are out and we start another circle? Yes. But it's a great passing game. And the hardest part is making sure everybody is keeping a steady beat. So again, at first, I had them pat it here. But then eventually, we're all, and I don't want them slapping the beat. And they can't pull out their hand unless it's on the last number. So that is a great clapping, passing game. There are so many different kinds of things, you know, where you tap this person in a circle and you tap this person in a circle, or you tap your, you know, you clap your own and you do a half circle and switch places, and then you jump and you have a new person. There are things where you're facing each other, you know, Miss Mary Mac and A Sailor Went to Sea, and those kind of clapping games that are a lot of fun. Other passing games where you're passing a stone, you're passing a stick, you're passing a shoe. There are all sorts of passing games that are great. And they build ensemble because you have to work together to make it happen. So something else just flew through my brain. I know what it was. I want to teach you this. I want you to do clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. Say it with me. Clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. Again. Clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. Save that. We'll add to it later. Another thing you can do is just do some games and dances that are actually in published collections. One of my favorites is Sashay the Donut. There are also a couple of others by the New England Dancing Masters. What do I like about this? Number one, the people that have put these together actually teach children. And when you read the instructions, they make sense because they've actually taught children. They are not esoteric. It's not intellectual. It's very practical. And a lot of times they'll have the tune written out for you so that if you don't have the CD, you could have a pianist play it. But there is an accompanying CD. So I'm going to type in the chat because this is one thing I did not put in your handouts. This is from Sashay the Donut, and it's put out by the New England Dancing Masters. And they also have one called Chimes of Dunkirk. And they also have one called Listen to the Mockingbird. So if you love to dance with children, these are great resources. So the piece that we're going to do is called Sasha. And you're going to say, Sasha, Sasha. Would you say that? Sasha, Sasha. And then you're going to count in Russian. Раз, раз, два, три. Раз, два, три. Then you're going to do right, 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 left, 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 both, 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 pat, 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 right, 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 left, 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 both, 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 pat, 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 right arm swing, da, 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 hey, left arm swing, da, 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 hey, and then you have 32 beats to roam around the room and find a new partner. Now, how did I use this? I was at an Allstate. And I don't know what it is about Allstates, but they always give you an evening rehearsal, and then the next day you rehearse for like 8 hours. It's a marathon. It's like, can you stay standing at the end of all this rehearsal as a chorister and as a conductor? Okay, so we've already rehearsed from 8:30 to 11:30, and they've had lunch, and we've come back at 12:30, and we're going till 4, right? So you're dying. About 2 o'clock, they're all sagging, and I'm like, okay. And I didn't have a little speaker, but I had a copy of Sasha. So I gave it to my accompanist and I said, this is how it goes. Can you play this for me? I'm going to teach the dance. I have it on my phone and I have a speaker here. So we're going to use the recording, but this is Sasha. So we will play it together. Uh-oh. 70%. Connected to Sandy's iPhone. All right, now Sasha, Sasha, Rasvatri. Right, 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 left, 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 low. Hey, left arm swing. Hey, then you have 32 beats to move around the room, and I wave at all the people, get all your wiggles out, jump up and down if you want to. You're so tired. Let's energize. New person, Sasha. Rasvatri. Right, right, right. Left, left, left. Both, both, both. Down, down, down. Right, right, right. Left, left, left. Both, both, both. Down. Right arm swing. Hey, left arm swing. Anyway, you get the idea. If we were in person, we would play the whole game together. But we're not in person, so you don't need to see me flying around the room. The point is, at OCDA just a week ago, this was the highlight of their day. You wouldn't believe what it looks like to see a bunch of choral directors playing Sasha. It is so much fun. Anybody who has ever played Sasha is smiling. There are no people frowning. But the point is, we played this game, and all of a sudden we had 30 more minutes of rehearsal in us before we took that break at 2:30. You know, it was like, oh my gosh, they looked like they were going to expire, and we did this game, and it bought me some time. Another favorite, and this is something that we taught in kindergarten, first grade, and my 5th graders always asked for it. And this is easily done. If you have 100 children, divide them up into like 3 groups of like 33 or 34. All you need are 3 chairs and something. It's called the hat dance. It's called the broom dance. I used to use a hat until we had a lice outbreak. I don't recommend a hat, but I have a lovely broom that actually my friend Susan Brumfield brought me from Berea, Kentucky. And so I use a broom, but I have played this game with a rhythm stick. The kids don't care, but what you have is 3 chairs. So pretend there are 3 chairs right here. The person in the middle has the broom. Then imagine coming from these 3 chairs are 2 long lines, evenly divided. So we call it a long waist set. So my decision is to either give the broom to the person on my right or to give it to the person on my left. To whomever I give it, that person takes the broom and sits in the center seat. So let's say I give the broom to this person. They're going to have the broom. They're going to sit in my seat. But I'm going to turn to this person and I'm going to sashay down the set till we get to the bottom of the set. From that line, 2 more people sit in the outside chairs. Here's the person with the broom. Do I give it to this person? If I do, I'm going to sashay down the set with this person, and so on. There is no time frame to it. So I'm just going to show you just a little bit of this. It's easier understood if we were doing it together. But let's say that we're playing the Broom Dance. You can use any music you want. So I'm the person in the middle. I'm going to hand it over here. I'm going to go down with this person. Here's a new person in the middle. They're going to hand it to this person and go down with the other person. And it's totally done by the children. Once they understand the concept, there is no need for adult intervention whatsoever. And again, it's a brain break. So this could be played before rehearsal. But if you have a long rehearsal, let's say you have a retreat. You have a day where you've invited a choir from another city to come. And you've rehearsed separately on the stage. And you've rehearsed together on the stage. And you've had lunch together. And you want to do something before you go back up for your dress rehearsal. You could have the broom dance going on in 3 different places in the room, and everybody would have a turn quickly and everybody would be engaged, and it would be a great way for them to play together for about 7 minutes before you go up for your dress rehearsal. If you have a long rehearsal and you need a break, it's great. So I love to dance. I am a member of an adult dance community. I'm actually a dance caller. I'm going to be calling a dance Friday night with 3 of my colleagues. And we love to dance. And I love to dance with children. And so it's a great way to give them a brain break. It's a great way for them to learn how to have manners. I mean, all you have to do is hand the broom to someone and smile at the other person and take their hand and look them in the eye and sashay down the set. That is something we're missing in our society because all of our students are like this. This is not where it's at. This is where it's at. So I'm getting off my soapbox now. Could you do this with me? Could you do tika tika ta, tika tika ta, ready and tika tika ta, tika tika ta, clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. Do that whole thing again. Tika tika ta, tika tika ta, clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. Click save and save that for later. Here's another great game. So I'm going to share my screen again. This one is listed in your handout as categories, but it's really concentration. I apologize. And I got this from my friend Tanya Lejeune in Denver. And this is kind of a different version of concentration, so I really like it. And I want you to go ahead and look at it. So it has do, re, mi, do, concentration. And you echo that. Concentration. And then this is just the teacher. Doodly bop, doodly bop. Then it's back to the teacher again. Concentration. And you echo, concentration, thinking of cities, thinking of cities. So it's just do, re, mi, do, so, do, re, mi, do, so, mi, do. I have written in the notes that the ones that I've had the most success with are cities, colors, animals, and instruments. So how does this go? You have the same concentration, concentration, doodly bop, doodly bop, doodly bop, doodly. Oh, I'm sorry, there's only one doodly bop. Concentration, doodly bop, doodly bop, concentration, thinking of cities. Then you do. And then your city comes on the snaps, and it's so neat. So let's do a group practice right now. Let's just think of some cities. So New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Kansas City, Tulsa, Lawton, Waco, Dallas, Fort Worth, Lubbock, Houston, Galveston, and so on. So you're going around the circle, and again, like Zakoti, each person has a turn. And if it breaks down, then that's when you start over again. But again, the more group practices you do, the more success your students will have. And for me, many times in the past, I was just too impatient to teach the game and get to playing it, but I forgot how to set them up for success. This group practice idea is the key to success. Give them a chance to practice in a safe space. A safe space. Everybody's singing, everybody's brainstorming, everybody's got an idea. And here's another thing I say. If somebody said your city, it's okay for you to say it again, if that's what you originally planned to do. Now, if we have 5 people in a row say the same city, we're done. We're going to a new thing. But if somebody else said your city and you're sitting going, I can't think of another one, do it again. It's okay. So we have concentration, doodly bop, concentration, thinking of animals, kitten, raccoon, badger, squirrel, zebra, alligator, and so on. So the sky is the limit with that one, and I'm really listening. Are my singers singing with their head voice? So me. Are they keeping the beat? Can they think on their feet? Again, this is building skills. It is a brain break, but it's also building skills. You're doing improvisation. You're doing steady beat. You're doing more than one thing at a time. You're using your singing voice. And you're having fun and smiling and playing a game. Why not? It's a great way. Okay, so now we are going to do this. Clap, pat, 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 stomp, stomp. So we're going down our body. Clap, pat, 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 stomp, stomp. Tika, tika, ta. Tika, tika, ta. Clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. Ooh, let's do that. Clap, pat, 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 stomp, stomp. Tika, tika, ta. Tika, tika, ta. Clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. Click, save. So we are going to come to another category just to talk about for a second. And we may go ahead and use our hour and 15. I didn't think we would, since we're not actually playing the game, but we are rocking and rolling here. Okay, we did the broom dance, the Sasha, and here's another idea. Program a choral piece that can be enhanced with movement. For instance, there's an arrangement of I Let Her Go Go, which is a Caribbean children's game, and it's arranged by Douglas Beam. Douglas Beam has actually taught in many countries overseas. He's one of those Americans that has gone and taught in many international settings. So he has arranged this lovely children's game, which is I let her go, go, yeah, I let her go, go, yeah, I let her go, I let her go, go, go. And then you have a new partner. I let her go, go, yeah, I let her go, go, yeah, I let her go, I let her go, 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 and then another new partner. So it has a partner song that goes with it that he wrote. And then it's very fast paced. It has Orff instruments, it has drums, it has shakers. And you can, so it's I let her go, go, yeah, I let her go, go, yeah, I let her go, I let her go, go, go. And then there's a partner song that goes with it, but it's a lovely arrangement. Why not do that? We did it with our training choir, and we had about half of our training choir in front playing the game while they were singing. We did a version of Hine Matov. There are many versions of Hine Matov, but we added the folk dance that goes with it. And we picked, I had about 6 or 8 of my singers that were in dance. So I knew they had jazz shoes or ballet shoes. I knew they were used to moving. And so I hired a friend of mine who has a dance studio, and we went to the dance studio on a Saturday and met Miss Katie, and she taught them the dance. And then we choreographed the rest of the piece, added a few things. It was stunning. It was fabulous, and the kids loved it. We did Bombela, which is arranged by Will Scaff, and it has a whole stick routine that goes with it, and we did it as our closing piece at OMEA. It was well received. It's a lot of fun. We took the piece 3 fiddle tunes, and we added the Bridge of Athlon dance to it. So I'm always looking for ways to add a game or add movement or add some kind of instruments to my choral programming. So can you do this in your situation? Absolutely. Looking for pieces that you can play with. So in the game time, We learned I Let Her Go. In the game time, we learned the part that goes with the bombela. In the game time before rehearsal, we learned the Bridge of Athlon dance and put that together in a program. Okay, I've been teaching you this. Stomp, clap, stomp, clap is the only part that we haven't learned, and that's so easy. Then clap, chest, chest, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, pat, 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 clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap, but no fair peeking. So here we go. Let's do the whole thing. Stomp, clap, stomp, clap, clap, pat, 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 stomp, stomp. Tika, tika, ta, tika, tika, ta, clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. Just think it instead of saying it, or whisper it inside your head. When I do a festival, during the warm-up, I teach it just that way. What did I start with? I started with the last thing. So maybe we've done a couple of stretches and I say, hey, do this, watch first. Clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. Learn that. Okay, we do a couple of more warm-ups and I say, oh, let's have this. Tika, tika, ta. Tika, tika, ta. Then we do the last two. Then we do a couple more things. Maybe we do the first piece. And I say, oh, let's do this. Bum, 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 tika, tika, ta. Tika, tika, ta. Clap, pat, pat, stomp, stomp, clap, clap. And lastly, after a couple more songs, stomp, clap. Then you can add that to any piece. Here's a piece that works really, really well is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So my challenge to you is, can you do it with me and sing? I know you're very gifted. Here we go. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So another brain break. So you can have that sprinkled throughout your rehearsal. So I'm going to share just a couple more slides and then I'm going to ask for your participation in the chat. And I'm hoping that you can at least take away one or two of these ideas. So, brain breaks and building musicianship. In my other two sessions, we have played Poison. I've had some other ideas from the Engaging Choral Classroom. I have one more to play with you. But again, in a moment, we'll talk about your favorites. And here's my disclaimer. I have tried some games and they don't go over with my age group, or they are not easily taught and played in 15 minutes. It's all about trial and error. So again, we're going to brainstorm a little bit. What games do you like to use? And here are some resources. I mentioned one of them already in my first session, Quick Starts for Young Choirs. This is written by two Oklahoma folks, Christy Carey Miller and Angie McKenna. Lots of great ideas. I've already showed you the icebreaker book. Look at YouTube or game websites. Google passing games, Google clapping games, Google name games. You're going to come up with lots of different ideas, and go to workshops. Amy Abbott, Aileen Miracle, Tanya Lejeune are three of my favorites. Cecile Johnson did a whole thing on games. I have a binder full of games from workshops put on by ORF or Kodai chapters, and a couple from that ACDA Children's Retreat that I told you about. So I think that is all of that. And I have one more game to play with you, but before we do that, I would like your input. So do you have other favorite games? Let's brainstorm for a minute. Things that have worked well for your situation. I have mentioned doing them before rehearsal, or in the midst of a rehearsal, or in the midst of a day-long festival. What other ideas do you bring to the table? Has there been at least one takeaway for you of something new that you could use with your choristers? While you're thinking about it, I'm going to drink some water. All right, I'm going to do one last game with you. I need to be seated, so I'm going to change my screen a little bit. This is from the Quick Starts for Young Choirs. And first time through, please just do what I'm doing, but don't sing, please. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So which two lines are exactly alike? First two. Those you don't have to practice that much. But let's practice the last two. So let's try the whole thing and you can sing along with me. Here we go. So first time through, that's all we would learn. Second time through, we can do it in a two-part canon. So you have do 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 do. So you have do 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 do, and then do do. Three-part canon, four-part canon. And the better they know it, the more parts you can have. Great fun. It's a great thing to do right in the middle of rehearsal. We have an hour and a half on Monday nights. Sometimes at 7 o'clock, we need Good King Wenceslas. So I see one thing in the chat. Thank you, Kristen. This has been wonderful. I can use many of these at church and at my school. That's what I want to hear. I want to give you not just a fish, but teach you how to fish. I hope that you continue brainstorming along these lines and thinking about how you can engage your students and play with your students and build community one game at a time. So thank you for your attention. Again, the handout is at the very top of the chat in PDF format. All those games are there for your use. And my contact information is there if you have clarifying questions that you need to ask once you look at the handout again. So thank you for your participation, and thank you for your questions, and hopefully you'll have some takeaways. So enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and thank you.